Hey, 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 dope people. It's your girl Paisley. I'm the Mindset Makeover Maven and the Dope Life Movement Creator. And you know what time it is. It's time for Sippin and Soul Speak. So if you are joining us live, go ahead and drop your heart emojis down below. And if you're catching us on the replay, make sure you drop your number twos in the comments down below. And don't forget to tell us what you're sipping on because we want to know. We want to know. We want to know. So jump on in here like Double Dutch, get in those comments, and I'll be checking to see what you guys are sipping on. Today, we have a special guest. As you know, we are talking about her story, right? Her story. It is Women's History Month. And so we are celebrating women owned brands. And we have Melissa from Conniption Gin. So say hello to the people.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you. I know you guys, if you are regular soul sippers, you have seen me feature Conniption Gin before. We made a cute cocktail right around holiday time. It was a delicious Negroni
Mm.
with the kinship, and we put some purple glitter in it. It was it was gorgeous.
Glitter makes everything better.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about it. My guest host was like, you should put some purple glitter in there. And I was like, "Oh, I have some purple glitter."
Yeah.
There, you got to keep your edible glitter on deck.
Yes. I mean, why
So,
not?
yes, yes, we love, love, love it. Let me make sure that I can see what people are saying here if there's anybody in here. So, um, so thank you for joining us and for sharing your brand with us. We ended up coming across Conniption Gin during our 4-year celebration.
Mhm.
So we were celebrating Sippin and Soul Speak being 4 years, and we had an amazing time. And I will tell you, your people, they do such a good job of the setup is amazing. Like it's attractive. It makes you want to come over. They're very personable, and so we just had a
Great.
great time with Kat being here. And sharing. We probably had about I don't know, 75 or so people that came through.
Love it.
And
Love to hear that.
yes, and they got to try the product, and they were just like, "Oh my!" And we're at the hotel where we had the event. So if you'd like a cocktail, because the Dope and Divine 75 cocktail that we created with Connection Gin is available here at the hotel, the lobby bar. So you can come in here if you're in the DMV. This is the hotel at the University of Maryland. So if you're in this area, pop in here and ask them for the Dope and Divine 75 so that you can get your little taste of Conniption Gin.
That's great to hear too. Yeah, I mean, a French 75 with kinship is a delight anytime.
Oh
Such
my goodness.
such an easy sipper.
It is, and it's so easy, just so easy and so delicious. And I was just like, oh yes, I love it. And it was purple, so
Exactly.
so I
Ah,
have always some high quality H2O because we need to stay
we
hydrated.
do.
And
Yes.
so I have some high quality H2O, and we're gonna get into these sips. You guys, so we're not gonna get into the sips first. We're gonna get
Okay.
into this basket that Kat gave me with Conniption
Oh, look
t-shirts.
at you. You got some goodies.
I got goodies. I feel special. I get excited when I cannot wait to like put this. It's a little big, but I
That
can't
is a little
wait to
big. We
like
might need to get you a smaller size. Well, I mean, it's a night shirt, I guess, if you want, but
no, I promise you I am gonna make this the cutest little shirt for some event that I'm going to.
yeah.
I don't know. But this strong women drink Conniption gin. I love, love, love this. And then it has
Has
Conniption
the,
on the back.
yeah. Yep.
And then
Yeah,
she gave me some
and it's
other
a perfect
t-shirts.
a month to wear strong women shirt.
Yes. And then this is definitely gonna be a fan favorite because it's purple.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there
This
you go.
is design on the back. So and I have my Conniption pin on that she gave me. So she gave me a basket of goodies. I was so excited to have these come through. And of course, I was super excited about the bottle. So
Well,
with
why,
your,
yes. I mean, swag's important, but the
we
liquid's
need the
even better.
liquid.
Yes.
So we have the American Dry, the Barrel Aged series.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Navy Strength.
That's the
And
big bold one. Yes, we always end on that one. We shouldn't start with 114 proof.
she's like, don't start there.
Don't start there. No. And
And
then the
then we
kinship.
have the Kinship, which you guys know I love. So tell me where I'm starting.
So, I mean, yeah, in tasting the flight, we always recommend starting with the American Dry because it's a
Okay.
good introduction to what makes Conniption gin so different from the typical London dries that we kind of think of in the United States as being those go-to. We're trying to change the mindset of American drinkers that gins have a lot of different styles to them, and we do not make London dry gins. Everybody else in the United Kingdom can focus in on London Dry, but that's not the preferable gin that the US drinks. So these are all contemporary gins. And
Okay.
so it means that the juniper is not going to scream at you. You're not going to get licking the pine tree out of any of our gins.
That's so funny that you say that, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
probably became a gin drinker last year.
Yes, right?
And I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, I don't like gin. And the reason I said I don't like gin, I'm like, it's like drinking a Christmas tree.
Yes.
I don't love that. And
No.
so, as I kept telling my audience, try different things, right? You want to try
Mhm.
something, try a different brand. They're
Right.
not all created equal, right? And your
Yeah.
palate is different and your palate might change. And don't listen to other people. Try it for yourself because you may
You
like
never
something that
know.
I don't like. Right.
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
so the American Dry I
So the
have here.
American Dry, yes. So the way we manufacture our gin, and we're in Durham, North Carolina, is we introduced modern science to the approach. So in
Okay.
your Conniption American Dry Gin, it's going to have some of the standard botanicals that you expect in gin. And so, for instance, that's going to be juniper, right? Because if I took the juniper out, I'd have to have it be flavored vodka by the federal government.
Right.
Uh, so the juniper is in there, but it's going to be in balance with a little bit of cardamom and coriander. And then we're going to bring in the citrus note of orange, which you'll
I
probably
smell
get
the
on that
citrus.
nose.
Yep.
Mhm. And then on the cold distillation, now cold distillation is that modern approach. And we do it for delicate botanicals that would otherwise be destroyed by heat. And so in the American Dry, it's going to be fresh cucumber and honeysuckle flowers. And so what those do is really bring everything together so that there's complexity to it, but also really great approachability. This is going to be about how do you have a gin that kind of unravels on your palate as you try it. All right,
Okay.
so gin tasting. So I'm also a gin judge. There's only about a half a dozen women in the country who are gin judges. And so
Okay.
what I like to say about being a gin judge is gin's a little different than most of your other kind of neat pours because the botanicals don't necessarily come out on the first sip. So you have to prime the palate. So you're never going to aerate it, right? So just take a sip, have it be the one that you don't judge, and then take the second one, and it's going to
Ah,
transform personality.
okay.
Okay.
So it's not giving me I'm licking a pine tree.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. Otherwise, we did not make
I
that
do
batch
taste it.
correctly.
It does give me, it gives me the citrus. I definitely taste the citrus. It's smooth though, right? So it's
Yes,
not,
it continues right on the palate. Mhm.
yeah, it just kind of like lingers there and It's really not, and this is neat, right? So I'm not,
Yes.
there's
And
no,
neat gins are you know, you can't be intimidated by it, but it's because you kind of think about it in terms of like you're trying vodka, right? But there is a lot that's going on in that liquid right there. So it's
yeah.
really
And
whatever
so it's
you're
not,
tasting is correct to
and
you
so
because
now
it's your palate.
what do you, what cocktail would you make with this?
Now that's the great thing, right? So the Conniption American Dry is what I consider our workhorse of the bunch.
Okay.
So it can kind of have the personality of taking on a gimlet and adding layers to a lime approach, right? In a gimlet, which is just, you know, your lime juice, sugar, and your gin. But then I also really like to explore more of like the spritzes.
Ah,
So, right. So if you had, and I have to admit, I like adding a little bit of gin to my Aperol spritz. Why not?
ah,
Yeah. And so it does really well in there, but it's also, for me, it's one of the ones that I can do any kind of classic gin cocktails, but I really like it in some vodka cocktails. So a cosmopolitan with Conniption American Dry is fantastic.
I can
Uh,
see that.
uh-huh. And then the head, it also like people raise their eyebrows to this. An espresso martini with that one.
So I had Kat invited me out to an event
Okay.
and they had an espresso martini on the menu at Urbano in Annapolis, which is where we're also having margarita bars. But um, they had it was delicious. It was delicious. I was like gin and an espresso martini. I've not had
Right?
that, and so I was like,
No.
oh, okay,
Yeah, and when we talk to, you know, having the introduction of having the side by side, right? Have the one with vodka and then have the one with gin. And the surprising factor is that the orange as well as the other ingredients in the American Dry actually complement the coffee.
hmm,
And so it really brings, I think, much more of a softening agent to the bitterness, but you've got more to the party. Whereas a vodka, so the neutrality of that, of course, you're going to taste the coffee before you taste anything, but
right,
it's going to be still pretty thin.
yeah,
There's not going to be the depth.
okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
I always like the espresso martini with you.
it was great. I was just like, oh, I've never had an espresso martini with gin. This is good. So now
Oh,
we're going to get into the
I would recommend you move to kinship.
kinship. Well,
Yeah, the barrel age is going to be, yeah, it'll have a little bit more dominance on your palate versus the kinship's still going to be a lot, have some delicateness to it.
I'm going to use the kinship in my cocktail, so I'm going to pour it in this glass.
Okay.
I already
Okay.
know I love this because
Well, not only is it purple, but it's delicious.
it
So
is. It really is delicious.
thank you. This is my recipe only. So Lee, who is my partner as well as the master distiller of the distillery, he did not have a handle on this one. So this
Okay.
botanical mix in here is all mine. I really
Okay.
wanted to have one that I felt like I could sink my teeth into. This one launched in 2022. And what you get off of this is the cold distillation method that really, I think, brings a lot more to the palate. Is going to be fresh orange peel and fresh lemon peel. And so it's going to have this sense of being a very bright and almost juicy gin. So please go ahead and try that. See what you see.
The first sip of gin, guys, when you're tasting.
That's right.
We're learning today. This is how we started Sippin' and Soul Speak, with learning about spirits and wines.
Yeah. And they're also different from one another.
I it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And as a person who was not a gin drinker just a year ago, right? It really is amazing. It has it's bold but light at the same time. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know, that's
I
the
like
only
to,
way
yeah.
I
It
can
almost
describe it.
It quietly roars.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's like, "Rrr." It's
Like, I'm
very,
here, you're
it's
not
very
gonna miss
sexy.
me. Yeah, that's right.
It's like,
Uh-huh. And then the butterfly pea flower infusion is after distillation and after we've already proofed it down to that level for bottling. So we infuse those dried butterfly pea flowers in there. And that does not give any flavor, but it gives that really gorgeous purple hue.
Yes,
And that for me, because I'm one of my main things with conniption is really understanding that there has to be a sense of taking down the intimidation factor of gin and to have an experiential cocktail, which is what the butterfly pea flower does, right? I mean, the citrus changes it to pink and as well as tonic. It just casts a really wide net, especially for women, to
yeah,
try
yeah.
and to not feel like it's something that's not going to be for them.
Jackie joined us and she says, I'm not really a gin drinker, but I want to try that. So I'm happy to know that Jackie's in the DMV and Jackie, it's all over the DMV, but you can definitely get it at Lax in Beltsville. So
There you go. Yeah, she'll have to keep me posted on what she thinks when she tries it.
absolutely. Um,
All right.
okay, so that was the kinship.
How was the
And now
kinship?
we're gonna get into the big dog.
We're gonna do Navy. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do Navy and then we'll end on the barrel aged. Okay.
Okay.
Have you
So
tried
this
the
is,
Navy
so
strength on its own before?
tell me why it's called Navy strength.
Yes. Yes. That is a category of gin. So Navy strength gin out of the UK, this is when the Royal Navy would go to sea. All of the officers would have rations of gin and the crew would have rations of rum. And so when there's a couple reasons why it is at the proof level that it is. The first is that, of course, it takes less volume because it's not as diluted. It's 114 proof. And so that would be something that they could have on board and not take as much weight on. But then secondarily, it was also Plymouth Distillery was the distillery that served the British Navy. And so this is also where the word proof comes from. If you are to light alcohol, to test the proof level of it, so the alcohol to water ratio, 57% is the first time that that flame will be blue.
Uh,
So that was the way that they knew at the time that they were getting what they paid for.
oh,
So the proof
look at
is in
that.
the yes. Now it is flammable, so we do not recommend anybody ever try to set it on fire. Please don't do that.
Please be
Please do
safe.
not.
Be safe and do not light the Navy strength on
That's
fire.
right. And you'll remember because the view inside that bottle, if you check it out, it has an explosion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You
it was
know what? I just noticed that they each have a different
they do. They're all
design.
individual. Yep.
So, and I do love that. So we do get into the bottles, and this does have um a design on the back that looks like an explosion. So
Yeah.
no fire, guys.
No fire. So 114 proof, right? I mean, for a distiller, that allows for us to have a lot more botanical complexity because it stays in that proof level tighter because it's not as diluted. So you're going to get a much bigger mouthfeel from the botanicals on the Navy. It's going to be 6 times the amount of juniper. Now, you said you weren't
I smell
necessarily a
the
juniper.
juniper.
Yeah. Now, this is the one that those sort of the connoisseurs of gin love as our Navy strength, but also bourbon and whiskey drinkers really like this gin. And yeah, it has a lot going on. It's going to be your Negroni gin, your last word gin. But it packs a punch. So
Okay. So be careful.
yeah, and this is
Sip
definitely a sipper.
responsibly. Mm-hmm. This is the,
Yep.
wait a minute, what's the,
Ah.
okay, I got, first sip doesn't count. I get a lot of juniper on the
Sure.
front end,
Hmm.
but on that back end, I'm getting something lighter. It's still herbal,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but
There are a
it's,
lot of complementary, what we call savory botanicals in that one.
yeah.
So we took inspiration from global cuisine, especially like if you look at India and
I was
a
gonna
little bit.
say this is giving me like sip this with Indian food.
Yeah. Yes. So
So
there's going
maybe
to be
is there
rosemary.
cardamom?
Yes, there's
Okay.
cardamom,
That's
cardamom,
what's like on the back
rosemary,
end. I'm like,
and then there's caraway in there. Yeah.
ah. So this with your roast beef sandwich
Yes. Yes, exactly.
on rye bread.
That's right. But the softening in it, right? Because it is 114 proof, but it doesn't hit you. It's not gonna
Yeah.
like slap you across the face. And the reason is that the cold distillation in that is actually dried mission figs. So we make vodka out of that. That's all we make in that system is vodka, the cold distilled
Mhm.
vodka. And so the fig vodka gets blended into the base from the Navy strength and it softens it without any sugars. None of our gins have any added sugar. They're sugar free. There's no sugar in them. There's also no carbs. There's nothing artificial. Everything is all natural. Yeah. I mean, we don't need to drink anything no, we just don't.
Yeah, I love that. I love it because I tell people I'm on my journey to summertime fine. I just finished a 6-week challenge. I lost
There
10
you
pounds.
go. Yeah.
I'm like, just drink your liquor straight. As long as it doesn't have additives, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of flavored vodkas hide sugar in them.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that is a question that we get is do you guys put any sugar or glycerin or anything? We're like, no, no additives at all.
I love that. Love that. So, what's the design on the back of this bottle?
So the tagline on the barrel age is it's about damn time. And so there is a
About damn
clock in
time,
there.
Lizzo.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I think we came out before Lizzo. I will say that. So that's the
There we
reason.
go. Lizzo copied Conniption. Put that in the
I
record.
don't know that I want to make that claim either.
She's like, we don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but we're all here together
We're
now.
all here together. So there's a clock in there that's kind of embedded in some wood grain.
Yes.
And do you see what we did, which is sort of the head scratcher on that? It's it's almost. Do you see the positioning of the clock hands?
Yes.
We inverted it just to kind of mess around. It's not on 5 o'clock. The larger hand is on five, and then so it's actually 5:25.
That's funny.
We just have some fun, or 12:25 actually. So yeah.
And I see
So
these like molecular, um,
yes, they don't mean anything. We
okay.
are. I had a chemist reach out to us about oh my goodness about 11 months ago, right? And so Lee is a pharmaceutical chemist by training, and she was so concerned. She was like, "You guys will really have to fix these molecular structures on the front of your bottle." And I was like, "Yeah, it's okay.
It doesn't mean
it's
anything.
not. It's meant
It's
to
just a design.
It's meant to represent the fact that we leverage science into the art of building amazing gens.
I like that.
So it
It's
did
about
take,
damn time.
that's right. And it did take a initial kind of influence from there's the molecule in juniper is pinene. And so we did take some of that element and move it in. But yeah. So the
All right.
barrel age, yes. So the barrel age is going to have it has a lot of botanicals from the Navy strength, but it also has orange and lemon in the citrus. And then it rests or aged in the High West bourbon barrels for 10 months. So it's not going to come across as a whiskey. It will have a backbone of a whiskey, but it's still going to be very much a gin. And what we love about it is that you're going to get a really nice toasted vanilla, almost mulling spices off of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That one didn't count.
The other thing is like you've had 2 sips, you're gonna feel good after all these.
So I could definitely see this in a, my other guest host would say, a manly brunch cocktail.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like you're having this with your French toast and you're
Yeah, an old
like
fashioned,
an
a
old
gin old fashioned.
fashioned. Yeah, this is,
Yep.
yep. I definitely get the blend of the gin and the, you said it's in bourbon barrels.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
high West bourbon barrels. Yeah, and but it doesn't overpower it, right? So
No, not at all.
it's just about how do you make it so it's complementary.
Yep. I like it.
Hmm.
I like it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All
So
right.
we've had them all.
Is
We've had
kinship
them all.
still your favorite?
So probably, but the American dry is given, um, I can see me having a cocktail with the American dry as well as like the kinship will probably just always be here in my heart. Um, but I definitely see I could do something with the American dry.
Mhm.
So what I have in here is some strawberry preserves. I have some, oh, I already took the lid off of that. And I have the sugar-free strawberry preserves because I didn't want any sugar.
Nope.
And I am adding the kinship, and I'm gonna dry shake this. There's a egg white and some lemon juice.
Mm.
That
Uh-oh.
wasn't smart. Yeah, that was not smart. I did not hold the top right, but I'm back.
Okay. Hopefully you didn't wear too much of it. Do you often make egg white cocktails at
With that,
home? Do you make a lot of egg white cocktails?
I don't. I actually like to use um, the aquafaba.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Mhm. Love that.
Yeah,
So my
the
glass is
one,
over there chilling, and now
oh,
I'm gonna add some ice.
so you get the nice foam on it. Hmm. I like that cocktail shaker.
Thank you, thank you. I like cute little things to make me feel like I'm
Hmm.
being having a great time somewhere else.
Being a bit fancy. I mean, it's how do you make those everyday moments of our lives just a little bit special?
So, and this,
Oh, yum.
let's turn this cocktail. Come on out, baby girl. I think I got too much lemon. Sometimes the fancy
Gives you trouble.
gets you in trouble, but it's fine. We improvise over here.
Yeah, yeah. It'll still taste delicious.
It will still taste delicious. The ingredients are still the same. And then I have a Blue Henry lemon for my garnish. It's a dehydrated lemon by Blue Henry. It's a woman-owned brand as well.
Oh, great.
So this is my pink lady.
Beautiful. I like your nail color too. It's all going together.
Oh my gosh. This is oh, this is so good. This is so good.
And I know we talked very quickly before we got online about what mine was going to be, and I feel
Mhm.
like I did not bring a party to the table here. In hindsight, I should have rethought this through, but I at least brought a fancy glass, dump some water out. So I brought this really cool spritz glass. See that?
Oh, I like.
I
And you
know.
got your giant square cube.
I do. Yep. Because we don't want it to get too diluted too quickly. Kinship for me too.
Yay.
I'm just gonna eye it. Why not? It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. We're over the hump right now.
Yeah. So you can see it's pretty, oh, it looks really blue. It looks purple in here, but on there it looks blue. Isn't that crazy? Huh.
Yeah.
All right. And then it's going to be today is the Fever Tree Elderflower Tonic Water for me. And so it's just the shift of color.
I love that.
And then if I'm feeling fancy, I'm going to add some berries and whatnot. I'm so sorry. I have my 14-year-old.
The water.
Yeah, you just get water. Cheers. Now even more.
Cheers. Oh my goodness.
Yum.
So we've gone through Conniption. What I did want to ask you about is the name. When
Ah,
I heard Conniption, Jen, I'm like, Conniption, I haven't heard that word in forever. My mother used to
right.
say, like,
Uh-huh.
you know, I'm
Yep.
having a conniption, and I'm like, so I was like, this is so cool. So what gave you like, oh, Conniption would be the name for this brand?
It is a family thing. Yeah. Because my core memories of my maternal grandparents center around when my sister and I would be over at their house, maybe on a Friday night or a Saturday, and my parents would have date night, so we would stay over at their place. And my grandfather is the gin drinker.
Okay.
So there's a story there, but the grandmother, who is Gertrude, she was a force in her own right, but I very much annoyed the you know what out of her at times. I was not an easy child.
Were you the
Um,
firstborn or the
no,
second?
I was the second. I was very
Yeah,
much the
the
second
second
kid.
borns are.
Uh-huh. And so she would tell me not to have a conniption. If I was getting in her way or, being that little bit of a pest, she would be like, that was her word. She would go to it. So it's in honor of her. And also the still, the main copper still in the distillery we named for her too. So it's
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
I love that.
And it's
So
not meant
Kelly
to be like a hysterics. We had some people ask us initially, because they're like, well, doesn't that have a negative connotation? And we're like, not for us. And I think that the elegance of the packaging brings forward that there's more to the story. So we think about it as that fit of inspiration for creating these gins and for modernizing American gin.
I love that. I love that. So when when did you get into creating Spirit?
I kind of fell into it, which I think happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. There is it's something working in the subconscious kind of had like this light bulb moment, but the universe forced it in the way that, of course, it will if you have a different direction. And so mine was that I was facing a layoff. And our boys were really young at the time. So this is 2013. They were 2 and 5. And my background to that point had been corporate marketing. So digital marketing. I had been in advertising agencies in Philly before we moved down here. And then I ran digital marketing at Burt's Bees for 4 years. And I liked marketing, always found passion there, but there was still something missing.
Yeah.
And gin was a hobby. And I know it sounds like a very bizarre hobby, but we would, whenever we would travel, we would try new gins. We would go into stores, and we would also look for gin variable cocktails and menus when we were traveling. And Ali and I went for our anniversary trip in May of 2013 to Savannah, Georgia. And because I knew I was going to be laid off, I actually had about 6 months before I was going to be, which I think is very much a blessing. Most of the time, layoffs are pretty abrupt.
Very
But we
much
were
so.
right. But we were doing a deal with a larger pharmaceutical company. So you had to stay to transition after the deal would be done. So I had an opportunity to kind of think about things that I wouldn't normally have. And it was driving home on I-95 from that weekend, and he was driving, and we were just talking about what next. And I had that light bulb moment, and I said, "Why don't we make gin?"
Wow.
And he started laughing. He was like, "You can't be serious." I was like, "Oh no, I'm serious."
Well, I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And this, I was talking to someone recently because I spent 20 plus years in corporate leadership.
Yeah.
And um and they were talking, with all of the things, and especially in this area, right? We're in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, and there's a lot of federal employees. And so, people are like panic stricken because of what's going on, right? And
Yeah.
so I was just like, I said, I think, and I try not to, I said, I think I'm just I've been through so many transitions, right, in my corporate career where I either, I worked for a company that merged with another company, but that merger required them to sell off a part of their business. And I was in that part of the business that they sold
Oh,
off. And
yeah.
this other company came in, and so now we got a new employer. And then after that, they said, "Oh, we're just not going to do business here." I was living in California at the time. So they shut
Oh,
our whole thing down. And it was really that
yes.
thing like, "Hey, tomorrow," you know, or, they
Yeah.
gave, and
You're on your
I won't
way.
say they gave us a little more time than that, but it was definitely like maybe a couple of weeks. And then I went and worked for another company that was buying up a bunch of smaller companies, right? And so every week we were either blending in people, or people that when we bought the company, those people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And then I went to another company, and it was like two big companies, and they merged together. And then some days you would come into work and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, so Jonathan doesn't work here anymore." And you're like,
Right.
"Why Jonathan?" And so,
And there's no rhyme or reason to it
oh, and
oftentimes.
absolutely no rhyme or reason. There was this one
No.
time, this one guy that they were like, "Oh yeah, they let him go." And I'm like, "Do they know what he does?" And and
Probably not.
and I was
Nope.
like, there were months later, I was telling people, I said, "I don't know how this gets done, but I know who used to do it, and they're no longer
They're
here."
no longer here. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you talk about that, and then with that, I retired from corporate leadership
Mhm.
after 20 plus years of the rat race and all of that, and decided, actually, Sippin and Soul Speak, it happened. It was a girlfriend of mine. She said she was a wine enthusiast. And I'm like, "Oh, just I was doing it was called the Dope Life Mastermind, where I was kind of coaching women entrepreneurs." And I said, "Okay, so just go live and talk about wine. It's like COVID. People have nothing to do, but they're definitely drinking, right?"
Yes.
Like, the one thing you can get delivered to your house is liquor. And
Uh-huh.
so, and she was like, "Oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it." And I said, "Of course you can." And then I had just written my book, I Am the Dopest, the 55 Affirmations for Living Your Dope Life. And
Hmm.
I was like,
Hmm.
"I'll do it with you." And so I had to come up with a whole name, because marketing is my jam, right? And
Uh-huh.
so I'm like, I got to come up with a name. And so we came up with Sippin and Soul Speak, and we would get on and she would talk about wine, and then we have soul stirring conversation and different topics and things. And so here we are, almost 5 years later. Sipping
Can you
and
believe
Soul
it? Yeah,
Speak.
5 years. I can't. My whole sense of time the last 5 years is really askew. Um, You know, I mean, doesn't it still feel like times it's like still 2022?
Oh my gosh. Like, is it 2025? Am I about to be 53 years old?
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. No. Yeah,
Yeah,
likewise.
so
So,
I
mhm.
do. I love hearing kind of how people kind of got into it. A lot of time, I like that your story is a little different though, and you jumped into a male dominated industry.
Oh yeah.
So, there's
Yeah. Mhm.
she's like, yep. So you jumped into a male dominated industry, and you're doing well. I am amazed when I go places, especially in this area. Like I went into this one retail location, and I gave him my information, and he was like, "Oh, we're about to start carrying this brand," and I'm like, "Which one?" And he goes, "Conniption." He was like, "Yeah, the girl," and he pulls up her name, and he's like, "Kat," and I'm like, "She's amazing, isn't she?" And he's like, "Yep." And so he was really excited about our partnership and the fact
Yeah.
that we have brands that she'd already been in there and doing her thing, and she was like, "Yeah, they're scheduled to come in for a tastings that in a couple weeks," and all that. And then I went to a bridal shower, and it was on the menu. There was a cocktail. There were actually, I think, 2 or 3 cocktails with Conniption.
Wow.
So I
Yeah,
literally,
I am overdue to get back up there. Like, yeah. So I
oh my
need to
gosh,
see all of these.
I ordered one, and because everybody's ordering the espresso martini, and I was like, no, I need to order the purple drink.
I gotta have my
So
badge. Yes.
yeah, so yeah, and then I went a place that's literally not far from me. There's a food hall, and I had talked to them about doing something there last year, and they were like, "Absolutely, whenever you want to, let's come in." And then Kat's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be at such and such place," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not very far from me. I'll meet you over there." Or whatever, and she has her cocktails on the menu, and I'm like, "You guys are on fire." And I love that because I think people think that you create a spirit and then people just buy it. Like that is
Oh,
not like
you
that
mean
is
the
so far
overnight
removed from the
success?
truth.
Yeah,
There's
the
so
overnight
many,
success that
first of
takes
all, there's so
15
many
years.
regulations.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. No, but I think what you have brought up that I think is so critical for any entrepreneur, regardless, is to surround yourself with a great team and hiring really people who have that element of passion that you can't you it has to be ingrained in them. It's not something that they can fake.
Yeah,
And Kat is she loves it. And
yeah.
so whenever she meets new people and she's talking about conniption, you know that she means it.
Well, and
And
that's,
that's special to me.
I tell people too, like for me, when we do events, it's important for me to feature brands that I love
Hmm.
because the audience is coming out and they want to see and try the things that we like. It's not just any old brand that we say, "Hey, come and be a part of our event," right? We're
Yeah.
like we want to be able to be it's really important for us to be our dopest self and to be able to show up and genuinely say like I really like this brand.
Hmm.
And so, and you may or may not like it, but I do. And so I'm not faking anything here, right?
Yeah.
We're letting you know, like this is one of our go-tos. Like, and so I think it is there's just such a genuine representation of the brand.
Hmm.
in this area. I can speak for
Yeah.
that. I've been in DC and Maryland locations, and Conniption is popping up everywhere. And so I'm super excited to, to see it in more places. Like, I go places, and I tell people, right? So if you guys, again, if you guys know, if you're a regular soul sipper, go and ask for it by name at your local liquor store, at your local watering hole, whatever your favorite restaurant is. Ask for it by name. Don't just go and say, can I get a gin and tonic? Say, can I get a conniption kinship gin and tonic, right? Or whatever you like. Can I get an American dry conniption martini or whatever it is? Ask for the brand by name,
Yeah.
because once they start to hear people asking for it, then they will consider, like, wait a minute, what, we need to check in on this.
Yeah.
Something's happening here.
And it's such a big part of how a brand builds, is
Yeah.
having people who want to have word of mouth and want to request it. And I think even more so for a woman-led brand like us, I will never underestimate how consumers, and especially women, support
Yeah.
when they fall in love with something.
Oh,
Right.
for sure.
And I take that very, to heart. It is very important to me to be authentic and transparent and grateful.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I said, I put the kinship side by side with another brand, and I'm like, this is gonna give everything a run for its money. Because it's a great price point, I think, and it's a great product. And so when you have those things come together, it's just like kismet, right? It's like,
Yeah.
we why would we not buy this? Why would we not try this, right? And so I, so kudos to you guys. You have some great people out there that are representing your brand very well. And when I just go random places that I go, because I go all over the place, and I see some of the brands that I love that are not those brands that have been around forever, and that people know about, like, it's the unsung heroes, and someone needs to sing.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no celebrity in this brand. This is really about how do you create a groundswell movement where you don't have a celebrity influencing how you think about us.
Yeah. You got little people like me, like, go get Conniption.
That's more important.
we're having an event. Come out and get to taste Conniption.
Yeah. Because otherwise I think we would be a flash in the pan. Think about how many celebrity brands there are now for spirits.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I guess that it does help from the distributor side and getting traction very quickly, but I also don't think that it necessarily has the same kind of groundswell movement and longevity, because
Right.
they're not trying it necessarily because they really want to try it. They're trying it because of the name behind it.
Right. Or somebody's singing about it in the song.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I said, once they start singing about it in songs, I usually don't want it, unless it's just like a regular, like, oh, it's whiskey and blah, 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 right?
All right,
But
we need to come up with a song for Conniption.
we need to come up with a song for Conniption. So my friend's son is a recording artist. I'm going to ask him to put Conniption in the song.
Great.
So yes, I do. But I love, I think you guys have an amazing product. I think you have, even your story, and a lot of times, we go to the store. I can tell you, if I went to a store and I didn't know about this, the bottle would attract me, right?
Mhm.
And even when you pick it up, it's a nice bottle. The design is beautiful and all of that stuff. But the liquid inside is a good product. And if you're not like, sometimes I can tell you, I have gone, people send me stuff all the time. Hey, have you tried such and such? And I'm like, oh no, I
Mhm.
haven't tried that. And I have gone and spent a pretty penny on
Mhm.
some product. And I'm like, this, I don't even know how to make it better. I don't even know how to make it better. So,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
I could have bought a cute pair of shoes,
But I bought this bottle and now I'm stuck with it. Yeah.
but I bought this bottle and now I have to figure out how to make it better. And
Uh-huh.
so I think, and people a lot of the times, guys, don't get confused with price point and quality,
Mm.
because I have literally spent over $100 on a bottle of a spirit, and I I have another spirit that is $35 and way better. So I could have had three for the price of one.
Why?
And
I
so I
couldn't put
think,
it better.
I think
Yeah.
we get caught up on like the notoriety of like, oh, there's, a celebrity attached to it, or
Mhm.
the price point, and like, oh, this must be better because it's more expensive. And that's just not always the case. Like there are some high quality, spirits and wines out there that are high priced, but that doesn't always equate to high quality. And so, you
Very
know,
true. Very true.
make sure that you and find what you like, and have it the way that you like it. Jackie said she wasn't she said she also said she liked the word conniption. And Kelly jumped in here saying that she's drinking her mushroom root beer. But
Oh.
we try it the way that it works for you.
Mhm.
um if you don't, I have noticed that my palate has changed over time,
Yeah.
right? So whereas before I would drink the sweeter drinks, I don't love sweet drinks anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And and so and someone turned me on to a Negroni, and I God bless them, because I love a good Negroni now.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I said, they're
Huh?
like, what's that you're drinking? Because you look at, it's like, I really enjoy whatever, whatever I'm having, I am enjoying, whether it's food or a
Mhm.
cocktail. I really do get into, like, I want to love it. I'm at this age where I probably have more summers behind me than I have before me.
No,
And
no, 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 no. No, you
so
can't
live
say
till I'm
that.
120.
Exactly. You never know.
You never know. But I feel like, I'm not, life is too short to
Yeah.
eat and drink nasty stuff.
Well,
So
exactly. And I feel like as we are in middle age too, and not to shake any trees that are, of the ones who are still figuring themselves out in the 20s and the 30s and even the 40s, but I, I feel like I would much rather enjoy one phenomenal cocktail than two or three that then I'll feel ill or just weren't that they weren't all that. So
yeah,
yeah.
and it's an experience to me, right? So I go out to different places, and I meet people, and they're like, oh hey, and it's cool, like to go to different restaurants, and they're like, oh hey, and they're hugging you, and you're
Yeah.
excited to be here, and then I'm like, oh well, do you have conniption? They're like, what's that?
But there's the social element to it, right? I mean, it's cocktails
Absolutely.
are meant to be enjoyed with others.
Absolutely. And so I do, find what works for you. And your story can change. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, oh, well, I've always been, like, I was always a tequila and a rum girl. And now
Oh.
I have found gins that I love. I have found whiskeys that I love.
Mhm.
And I'm finding that I'm really enjoying when a spirit is aged in a bourbon or a whiskey barrel. Like, it just gives it a whole different profile and complexity that I actually have come to enjoy. So I don't have to
Mhm.
I have to stick to the rivers and lakes that I'm used to. I can chase these waterfalls over here.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I really love it. And I appreciate you for sharing your brand, for sharing your people with us. Stacy's been amazing. And you know, reaching out and communicating. So, you know,
I
how
appreciate the community that you're building. I mean, I think that for us to find like-minded people who are in exploration of different spirits and want to share what they fall in love with, that's how we grow as a brand. That's how we get
absolutely,
discovered, and it's
absolutely.
critical to us. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all the good goodies. Thank you for all of the treats. Thank you for jumping in. I know we've been trying to get you on the calendar for a bit, and you know,
But this month is perfect, right? Women's History Month, her story. Feels great to be here.
absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your brand with us. We look forward to seeing it more all over, guys. And so I know that we have, I think Kelly's in New Hampshire. We've got people all over. So
Uh-huh.
guys, wherever you are, if you know you want to support, go to your local places and ask for the brands by name. But you can definitely get this in all over the DMV because Kat is on her job.
And you can order for not most, because some control states like New Hampshire is a challenge, but you can order us online too on conniptiongin.com if for
Yeah,
some
order
reason
it
you
to
can't find it.
Massachusetts or somewhere else.
That's right. That's right.
Go pick it up from your friend's house. You need to visit them anyway. But
I
yeah,
can't say that, but you can.
so guys, you know, you can order online if it's not in your area. And if you know, you're not seeing it in the local places where you are, ask for it. Ask for it by name. But you can definitely pick it up. I can tell you where you can get it. You can get it at Lax in Beltsville if you're in the DMV. That's in Maryland, on the Maryland side, and you can definitely enjoy some cocktails here at the hotel where we're recording. You can enjoy some cocktails at some of the restaurants in DC, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it at Paisley Palooza.
There you go.
So Paisley Palooza is coming up in April. That is a multi-series event throughout the month that we're going to be celebrating, and you guys get to come and hang out with us in person and taste some of the products that we have chosen to feature and all of that good stuff. So
Nice.
come on to Paisley Palooza. If you have not joined go to our website, delaceypaisley.com, and that's, you don't have to remember all of these things. We'll send you a reminder email and you can get all of the information, and you can go to the website, and on the website, Conniption is on there as one of our featured brands because we have featured them previously. So Melissa, thank you for joining us and sharing your story and sharing your products with us. And I can't wait to get my t-shirts on and be outside.
There you go. Yeah, I will definitely let you know when I'm headed up there next time, so we can see each other
Absolutely.
in
Would
person
love to connect in
and
person.
have
Absolutely.
a cocktail together.
For sure. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
guys. If you've joined us live, make sure that you drop your heart emojis down below. And if you're catching us on the replay, make sure you drop your number twos in the comments down below. Don't forget to tell us what you're sipping on in the comments. Even if it's on the replay, we go back and check those things. We like to see what you guys are sipping on, and we don't care what it is. It can be anything from sparkling water to sparkling wine, or anything in between and beyond. We just love that you have decided to be here with us, because you could be anywhere in the world doing anything else, but you decided to come and join us for Sippin' and Soul Speak, and we love that. So we want you to be dope because you are dope on purpose. See you soon.